Hey everyone, welcome to today's vlog and prison tour. The sun has just officially gone up. A couple minutes ago you could not see it. Just went over there and set up a time-lapse camera so we can get the sun creeping across the building over the next hour. So we camped up here. This is the 50-hour challenge at an abandoned prison out in the middle of the wilderness. And we are actually out in the middle of the wilderness. So the nearest town is at least an hour away from the dirt road we started. Then we had to travel quite a distance on a dirt road. Then it's blocked off at some railroad tracks. They didn't want to maintain the crossing. Then we had to hike in here at least, I'd say 80, 90 minutes on this very narrow prison road. That's the only access to the building. It looks like every now and then they must be mowing it, or else everything would look like this overgrowth around that little outbuilding. That little outbuilding has its own heating system. We don't know what that was used for though. So I'm going to give you a tour of the place. I have learned this place by heart. Every hallway, secret passage it has. Over the past 50 hours, I've walked every hallway at least a dozen times out of boredom. We played extreme versions of hide and seek in the middle of the night, middle of the day. The day we arrived was Labor Day. We didn't realize that at first. We had probably a dozen people explore it throughout the day. Everyone was really nice, actually, the other explorers. And yesterday, not a single person because it was a weekday. It really felt like the apocalypse in this place. We were able to salvage things to help us camp. We were even able to find hundreds of gallons of leftover diesel fuel in the basement tank. Made some torches, walked the halls with it. It was cool what we found in this place. But now I'm going to give you guys a tour of it and show you a little bit of information along the way. So this place was closed 50 years ago. It was originally a prison farm camp, as low security as you could probably imagine. These were well-behaved prisoners that could be trusted out in the fields, taking care of animals, raising animals, growing crops, running equipment. Every prisoner's sentence was less than 2 years. They come here on reduced sentences in exchange for their work on the farm. And the prisoners, by the looks of it, the glass was even on the inside of the bars. They were allowed to have mirrors. There was really no, they weren't really afraid of the prisoners doing something wrong here. And if the prisoners did leave when they were working in the field, they'd obviously, if they got caught, go to a higher security prison. But for some reason, 50 years ago, they thought it was inhumane having prisoners work a farm, even though it was their choice to come here with a reduced sentence. I don't understand that logic. It's the same thing prisoners do now, cleaning up garbage on the side of highways. They're doing it, and they're probably getting lesser sentences. They're getting perks. It's a choice. It's a lot better doing stuff, learning a farming trade, learning to do something with your life, rather than just sitting in a cell for 2 years. I don't know why a lot of these places end up shutting down. I'm sure they could have been run better. So, this place is also for sale for $299,000 Canadian, a little less than 200,000 American if you do the crossover with the money. Why so cheap? This place has over 35,000 acres of fields that they've been maintaining. For some reason, the last 50 years, why hasn't the government been renting it out to local farmers? They could have been. Why didn't the government sell this place when it was in very good condition for many, many millions? A lot of questions there. Why they let this beautiful place rot? This place was built so strong back in the day, but vandalism is the reason why a lot of these bricks are falling off, I believe. I was able to reach out windows, grab the facade, and actually move it a little bit on one part of the building. So I bet kids are getting pry bars and just making this stuff fall down now that it's weakened from all the years being abandoned. And I can't tell if the government salvaged all the bars off the building, all the metal doors, or it was done later on. Because some parts of the building, the salvage effort was so neat. They actually had to break bricks off the inside of it to get the windows out. and they neatly collected it, all the bricks, and piled them in the hallways in certain areas. Like it was done professionally. They didn't just leave it all over the floor, which is weird. Then other parts of the building, they only salvaged what you could basically reach with your hands as far as pipes. So we'll walk around this place and explain a bunch of its workings now at this part of the video. Right here was the boiler room of the building. It originally had 4 stacks. One of them fell over, maybe got scrapped, stolen. Right here are some hatches just to let steam out of the room, just for ventilation maybe in the summertime. These pipes you're seeing here, just like on a steam train, this is if they had to release pressure from the boilers, it would come out here. Over here, one of those might be a toilet, one of them's another boiler pipe because there's a much smaller boiler over on that side of the building. Over here is likely another toilet pipe, vent, more vents. This chimney here, can't really figure out what it went to. We think whatever it was removed. Down here's more ventilation, access hatches. We think that these brackets here used to house some kind of satellite radio tower. This hole right here is the exhaust pipe of their really big diesel generator. It's hard to determine if this place was completely off-grid or not. There are some remnants many miles away of power lines coming partially out here. We don't know if they continued. No evidence of that. It may have just been a backup generator, but it may have also been permanent operation. See all these holes over here? Originally, back in the day, coal trucks would come here, fill this entire pit with coal, which is level with the floor inside here. We know the boilers originally were all coal-fired. They have these fire boxes, and you can see they were converted over to be burning diesel. We think it's diesel because it was also running big generators. We don't think they would have used fuel oil, which has more sulfur in it, would have caused damage. Also, the fuel in there is not red. You can tell it was yellowish. It's a little brownish now because diesel gets brown over the years. It becomes less efficient, but it still will burn, even at its age. I'm going to show you a little concerns about that too. When it was converted to coal, they didn't need this whole pit. Just this area here, these 4, have 2 massive 10,000 gallon diesel tanks with still hundreds of gallons in it, and I suspect when it was abandoned it probably had thousands because there's a massive spill. This entire part of the building smells like fuel, but it's not like gas, it's not flammable, but it is a huge environmental nightmare, and this area needs probably hundreds of thousands, if not more, in diesel remediation of the soil. The rest of that they made into a little workshop. You can see they tried to seal it up with plywood, but vandals ripped off all that stuff. Different parts of the building are built totally different, which I thought was really cool. This part of the building here, you see where water sits on the roof. You can see the rust stains. It pools when it rains. At first I thought this roof would be unsafe, but no, the concrete on this roof, they must have had wooden molding underneath it that they peeled off afterwards, putting the entire reinforced concrete load onto big heavy I-beams. Yeah, the concrete there's over a foot thick. You wouldn't fall through the ceiling there. Here you might. This looks pretty bad. I found a way to get up on this building here. I put a rain barrel, then I was able to pull myself up the rest of the 6 feet. Up there I walked around. Most people don't go up there. You see, they didn't steal this vent cover, which all the ones down here on this level where we're camping have been stolen because it was easy scrapping. They also didn't even take the grates off the roof drains, but up there, the entire roof is sagging. You can tell when it rains, multiple inches of water sit there like ponds. It's very soft up there. Certain areas of the roof, it's scary. That is kind of dangerous. This is built in a similar fashion, but I think a little bit better than that and this. So what you're seeing there is underneath all that is metal trusses. Then they put metal decking down, poured concrete, pretty standard. They'd still do that today. But today they would usually put some kind of vinyl over the top of it. Back then they put tar, which is very good at waterproofing. Then they threw gravel all over the top of it, which protects the tar from UV, which would help it crack. It also keeps the building cooler having gravel on top of the black tar. So there's different sorts of roofing methods here, which are really cool to see. The weathering is really cool. Certain sides of the building are completely weathered, falling apart. Oh, there's our pigeon friends. They live in the auditorium. I wonder if they stay here all winter. I don't think so, because there wouldn't be really any food. But certain parts of the building look horrible. And as we walk around, you'll see other parts look perfect. Now I want to give you guys a tour. There's also an apple tree here. I don't know if that was planted here with the prison or not, but we sure loved eating from that during our camp. All right, let's set off into the building and see what else I can show you up here first, where I could give you a bird's eye view. The place had its own sewage treatment plant. That's what this place is. Look at this over here. That helped add aeration to the water. That was really cool. So everything was combined. All the roof drains, when it rained, it all went through the same thing, because we realized, you see where all these trees are growing? Each one is growing out of a roof drain. These roof drains tie into the plumbing stacks. Same thing as the toilet. These were toilet vents. But these ones here were drains. Drain, toilet vent. All the grates were stolen because it was easy picking. All right, we're gonna take a walk around the prison and see what we got. We've been rationing our food and water the past day because I don't really want to build a burner to purify water. This is my last ration. We're gonna take off in like 2 hours. We're waiting for the dew to go away so it doesn't mold up the tent if we don't open it at home. Got a time-lapse camera going over there of the sun going across the building. We'll leave that for a bit. Here's another vent. It had a big waterproof hood over the top of it. And what's really cool about this vent is they all have a hydraulic piston that would open ductwork. I'm thinking it was just ventilation maybe. It may have been an air intake for something. But this, if that vent, we lifted it up, shaft going all the way down to the basement. About the equivalent of 4 floors because the 3 floors are so high in here. All right, let's drink the rest of my water. Let's go wandering around the building. I got my big flashlight, big high boots. Basement's not flooded like the first time we came here. Emergency exit right there. Originally was the flagpole of the place. This wing right here is where all the guards, maybe Warden, lived. There's also a few living quarters throughout the cell blocks where the guards looks like they had permanent apartments in close proximity. There is over 800 cells. We didn't count them, but maybe we should count one part of the cell blocks and multiply by 12 because this place is very symmetrical. This was the most fun camping video we ever had. And I love being like a little investigator looking around this place trying to figure out how different systems around the building worked. And I also noticed this. I wonder if there was some kind of little deck or easier way to get up when I'm climbing. Kids having campfires and stuff on the roof. See, it burned through the tar, but there's concrete underneath that. So this part right here, I put a rain barrel here. Was able to pull myself up over the top. And I tossed the rain barrel back down where I found it. So no one would get hurt on that roof because it looked like a place that would fall through. But this is what I was talking about. See the facade's about to fall off? I think kids might be grabbing crowbars and just helping it go. But the front of the building looks perfect. I think the areas with less freeze and thaw cycles, ones that just stay frozen. Because up north here, this gets really cold. All right, we're in. This was the production or projection room. They'd have movie projectors here. Guards could always watch through these windows. This was more roof access. See? This is the auditorium. Really cool. Very tight staircases. Love to see that. Turn my light on low. give you guys more light. Here's a weird door. You gotta move it out of your way to be able to get in here. But let me show you what we got. Barber shop. It also said projection room, which we were just in. This room right here is the barber shop. You see at one point they put up a temporary wall. Closet. This hole was never here, but we're gonna take it. Look at all the gaps in the walls for the plumbing. This was always an access door from the other side. Don't know what this room was, but there used to be cast iron radiators in here with covers over the tops. And here's where the pigeons live, in the auditorium. Sometimes when you walk around in here, daytime or night, it scares you because they're walking around on top of this ductwork. And this is what I was talking about as far as how the roof is built. You notice some of the steel trussing is extremely bent from the weight on the roof. You also see the pitting right there. The water sitting on the roof is permeating through the concrete because the tar has broken down. It's destroying the steel decking, and that concrete there is very thin. So as you walk around, you can feel it cracking and flexing. You could literally fall through the ceiling if you weren't careful. It's falling apart. But then these beams here are strong enough they could probably hold a train. Over here, we can get a close-up look. Oh, pigeon. They live up here, the pigeon nests. See, here's another example of the steel decking, different type of steel decking. There's the stage stairs. Oh, scared more pigeons away. Someone smashed a hole in the wall over there. Vandals like to bring out sledgehammers, I realized at one point. This goes to a back stairwell. We will take that shortly as we do our tour. All right, coming in here to the main hallway. That wall wasn't always there. We don't know, because if that wall wasn't there, it would go right into the area where the guards lived. We think that they maybe put that up for, it's actually probably always there for privacy. But you got to go down a staircase, walk through, and up a staircase to get to that area. All right. In here is what we suspect was the gym. Looks like maybe a locker room for the gym. Someone busted a hole, but we'll walk through it. This looks like bathroom. Utility. This is where the toilet would have been. Oh, it smells so bad in here, like poop. This is the facade I said I was able to grab and move it. And in a place like this, there's certain areas we were wearing masks that we were hanging out in a lot because you don't know, back in these days, the tiles, the plaster, even the concrete may have had asbestos mixed into it for strength. They used to do that back in the day. This is also probably lead paint. As long as you don't stir it up, it's okay. Over here, we don't know what this room was. Or this room. But I'm going to take you down to some more cool rooms. This right here was the freight elevator. We don't know who boarded it up. It looks pretty new. It's crashed down at the bottom. Here's that other door going into the auditorium. You see somebody scrapped or stole all the railings, which is scary. Like I said, that's the equivalent of like a 4-foot drop. All right, we're gonna proceed down. My legs are actually sore from carrying all our gear in, and I have done nothing but walk these halls for the past 2 days. It's fun doing the rounds. We'll go down to the basement later and show you some of the scary tunnels. First, we're going to come in here where we have a loading dock where a truck would have pulled up. We'll get to the boiler room. That's the most exciting room. Over here were some outbuildings. Don't know what they were. There's another building over here that has a chimney. Don't know what it is. There was another building that had a, it looks like maybe it was a radio tower. We don't think it was a guard tower at this minimum security prison, but we think it was for service. If we walk down the hill, there's a big river we actually swam at for showers yesterday. And it's very muddy banks, but it's okay. It's very deep, good for swimming. Someone actually showed up on a boat there to come visit the prison 2 days ago, Labor Day. There's also a trickling creek back there. It's pretty useless. It's basically just dried up mud since beavers dammed it in a bunch of fields. There's not much water coming down here this time of year. And well, anyway, there's another building down there. It has this biggest, most massive well for the property. It's so cool. There's a ladder going down in this massive pit with water that seems bottomless. All right, so stuff would come out of the loading docks. Right here we have a massive walk-in freezer. Over here was probably storage of some type. Walk down here. This was storage. This was another massive walk-in freezer. Just look at the insulated walls. Right here are two massive, made in Toronto, Canada, rotisserie ovens, which is super cool. Look at that. Massive rotisserie ovens. You would think, why wouldn't the government try auctioning these off when the place closed? They just leave this stuff here. Look at these massive rotisserie ovens. So cool. Right here, I'm thinking was another walk-in freezer. Maybe an oven. Maybe you can tell me in the comments what you think of that building. Access up there to get to the ventilation and workings of the freezers. This is another massive walk-in freezer. This is another pantry where they probably kept a lot of canned food around the prison. Pretty cool stuff. So the majority of the prison has radiators. Part of the building, the prisoners have little individual radiators, but then other parts they don't. Other parts, the superheated steam from the boilers goes into, I forget the word of it, but massive air handlers, and there's coils in there that are really hot. Air blows over it, and most of the prisoners don't have radiators. It is forced air, but it's all coming from steam. Right here, this door, look at how weak that door is going out onto the loading dock. More loading docks. This place is interesting, I tell you that. Yesterday there was a bag of forks here. Actually, I think that was 2 days ago, but someone took it. Someone was having a campfire. At least they were clean enough to collect their own garbage, whoever this was. But there is a lot of garbage and random stuff here. People come up here to shoot. There's targets everywhere. That's what you see set up there. People making chairs. There's a lot of stuff here. You just wonder how it got here. Modern patio chairs and stuff. You know they weren't here back when this place was a prison. We also found a modern grill, modern furniture, modern kitchen cabinets. We don't know if people were dumping it here at some point when the road was actually open, but none of that stuff dates back to when this place closed. Now this place was built in different stages, had multiple additions. The newest part is 1958, I believe, closed in the 70s. Parts of this place are early 1900s. Looks like another oven. We have 3 more giant walk-in freezers here that would have come off of these loading docks. More storage. Just access to clean out the ductwork. Maybe access to the dampers. Another oven. Someone broke their bicycle, it looks like, on the way in. More kitchen storage. Gigantic stove hood. Looks like there would have been a gigantic stove here where they were cooking. Would have got sucked up here. That's the big vent I believe you saw up on the ceiling earlier. Up on the top of this building, 2 floors up. The one I said no one stole the metal off of it. And maybe the prisoners are probably cooking food too. They do that in a lot of prisons. But if they were cooking food, the guards would have been up here watching over. Maybe it was one-way glass, maybe not. I don't know what they had back in those days, but this prison definitely didn't have tempered glass by the look of it. Over here was the main lunchroom. Prisoners could also be watched by the guards from those windows. A guard would have sat here in this middle corridor. Kind of cool. We walk through here. Showers to the left. Urinals, but also shower. Over here, probably more showers, more urinals. And that just goes back through to the kitchen. More kitchen space over here, I believe. Maybe. Then we have this really cool spiral staircase, which goes up where the guards were. Wow, this is a tight staircase. Had to be in good shape. So it looks like there was lockers up here. You had a good view of the kitchen. Keep an eye on all the prisoners. Go back down this cool spiral staircase. Yeah, just come to think of it, this is so tight. This would be very uncomfortable if one of the guards was just a little bit heavier than me, also carrying holsters and things. That would have been tight. There's other little tight passages like that too. This is that same staircase you saw up above I mentioned. Also more basement access, courtyard access. Main entrance up here. I'm going to show you around their living quarters, the guards, maybe the warden, before we take you to all the cell blocks. Sun's coming up nicely. Smells musty up here. Maybe this was check-in, reception or something. But originally there was a stacked glass wall right here. You can see that. You came up here to a secured door. Down here looks like maybe a place to pound your feet off. More offices here. Let's take you outside and just show you a little bit of the front of the prison at ground level before we take you back in. Someone ripped out a fire hydrant, maybe had plans of stealing it. But here's what the prison looked like. Here you can see my tripod up there, still time-lapsing. Front of the prison. I really, really like the brickwork on the face of this place. The stonework is also nice too. Look at that. I like how the mortar is extra thick coming out. This is 1958. Beautiful plaque right here on the front of it. Moose, bear, deer. If the workers aren't paid, it's slavery. But they also got lesser sentence, so isn't that a form of payment? They chose to be here. They learned a valuable trade, which would have cost a lot of money in a trade school. It's just my opinion on that. These places here, you weren't in them for very long. This place had a maximum of only 2 years. If you had a sentence more than that, you wouldn't have been in this prison. So right here, I believe we're probably offices of the prison. That's what I'm thinking. Give you a quick walk over here. I've walked in these places here dozens of times over the past day, playing hide and seek and stuff. Just searching every single room of the place after we see other explorers leave, just to confirm we're alone. because it's kind of scary at night. This place, when the wind blows, makes rattling noises, creepy noises. Look at this room, still has paneling. No one ripped it down. All right. Now right here looks like they had a very secure double door system of some type. Also access to the basement. Maybe I should bring you guys in the basement and boiler room before the cell blocks. What do you think? Because that would maybe save time in the long run, taking that route. Beautiful floors. When these were polished up, they would have been nice. So earlier on in the video, when I mentioned that wall, if this wall wasn't here, it'd be open up into the prison. So we believe this to have been living quarters. You can really admire how they built this back then. Look at that. They had to smear the plaster over the screening. I like that idea instead of using lath board. Nice strong buildings, very fireproof, no lath board. Plaster doesn't burn, metal doesn't burn, concrete doesn't burn. Look in here. Looks like probably a walk-in shower with even a bench in the shower. Maybe. It may have just been a toilet. But they had a bathtub in here. You can tell at one point it was overflowing because it looks like it maybe leaks into it. Forced air in this part of the building too. Radiator would have been there. So maybe they had radiators here. They also had ventilation maybe just for the warmer days. Because it looks like this place had a system with air exchangers that wasn't intended for heating the place. There was no air conditioning up here, especially back in these days. And it's always cool here in the summer. Doesn't get too hot. So this looks like a bedroom, closet. Maybe where the bathtub was communal for all the guards. These are all bedrooms with closets. This one, yep, closet. Typically, if there's a closet, it's considered a bedroom. There's another one with a closet. More closet space along with the pipes. More shelves. This door has been locked ever since the prison closed. But it's another bedroom. It's got a closet. Yeah, this is the closet that they smashed in through. Look at this. More bedrooms. All different bedrooms for different guards. That's what we're assuming. Does it seem like there's an extra nice one for the warden or something? I don't think so. This was another bathroom, so you had a tub, you can tell. Right here, what do you think this was? I was thinking, well, I see plumbing in there. Maybe a unique statue, maybe a religious statue. Something may have been here. What do you think of this? It looks like something would have been sitting in here in the hallway. All right. Off into the scary basement. Places like this, I always fear people more than animals, because animals are very predictable, reasonable. Alright. Take you guys downstairs now. Scary basement. Turn the light up a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't die during our basement tour. But I have a backup headlamp just in case, but it will be scary because the headlamp's not as bright. Another room. It's muddy down here, which is a good thing. Don't have to worry about stirring up asbestos. See, people had fires at some point. Nope, they did not. That's just rot. But look at the shelving. Look at the storage. Would have been another radiator in there. More storage. Lots and lots of storage. Maybe this was for like Maybe they would have kept files or something in here. It's right below the offices. Ooh, frogs. Most of the frogs, this is just storage. Most of the frogs are basically trapped here in the basement, but there's evidence of raccoon tracks. They probably come in here and get an easy catch. Right here looks like the locker room for maybe guards that didn't live here. What do you think of it? This is the only remaining radiator on the whole property. See that? Steam would have passed through that. It would have had a grate over it. It's really cool. Barn swallow nest. Lots of asbestos up there. All right. We're not even in the scary part of the basement yet. This is the scary part of the basement right down here. See, someone stole all the plumbing pipes that they could easily take. You see all these couplings, or, whatever you call them, the brackets hanging from the ceiling. There was pipes running along all these ceilings. And look at the amount of stalactites, too. There was benches here in this part of the prison. Oh, actually, there's more radiators here. I didn't realize that. I don't think I've ever actually walked right here in the past couple days. I've been down there, I've been there. I've also walked between these doors through there. I think this is the one gap I didn't do. Look in here. So this is underneath all the cell blocks. Here's all the ventilation. Anywhere where rainwater was able to get in, just completely rusted out the ductwork. Look how big some of these sewer pipes were. 8-inch diameter. This was all leftover bricks when they built the prison. A lot of them still in which are completely intact, especially in the bottom of the pile. See? That's the bathroom tiles. They're actually complete bricks. The brick itself, the structural wall itself, actually is what has the color on it, which is super cool. See that it was many, many pipes running along the ceiling with steam. In the faraway parts of the prison, it was not efficient to be, I guess, having steam go all the way or something like that, so they had ventilation or the heat running through ductwork. This is all rot. It looks like they stored tables and stuff in here. Oh, another frog. Yep, this is all rot. That's not burnt. Maybe some of it, but I think it's mostly rot because this place floods. That's insulation, not ice you're seeing. Yeah, this place sometimes has feet of water in it. The first time I ever came to this prison, a lot of these places had over a foot of water in them. So you definitely needed big high boots and waders. See, there would have been more steam pipes here covered in insulation. This right here looks like just a helper unit. Actually, this is the vent right here I showed you. We're camping above this, 3 stories up. Yep, this. All those pebbles I drop are inside of this blower, which is cool. So this is clean air or exhaust. I'm not sure. Let me look at it. Exhaust. It's blowing up. Yes, it's blowing up. We'll take you through some more scary places soon. That would have been a good hiding spot for hide and seek. Looks like maybe the barber's chair or something. This room had a bunch of this insulation blocks. It feels like styrofoam. These things are super light. Anyone know what that is? Is that some sort of asbestos I should be looking out for? Ooh, another frog. This looks like a workshop. Look at these lights. I'm gonna dim my lights so I don't use up too much battery. Had all these cages in here. At one point, before the legs rotted off, there was lots of tables in here. This one's still intact with fluorescent lights over it. Guessing a workshop where they worked on parts and stuff to keep these systems up and running. That would be my guess. Up on the roof, I mentioned that ventilation damper was with hydraulics. Basically, like that hydraulic right there is controlling a damper in there. I think this is one of the units where there's a whole bunch of coils in there that superheated steam is going through. Cold air passes through it, heating it up, then it takes it around to the cell blocks. All these steam pipes are going down there into the boiler room. We'll go there in just a minute. Once again, completely rusted out. Rainwater is somehow getting into these ducts. The sewage treatment building is right over here. All right, we're gonna go back in. It's more scenic of a route to take. I'm trying to take the most efficient route through the place to show you everything in this vlog. But as you see, it takes a while. I didn't think this vlog was gonna be over an hour, but it likely will be. Haven't even got started on the cool stuff yet. All right, we're coming out into the courtyard where the apple tree is. Got some stairs. There was a manhole cover over here that was open. We shut it the other day. Random hazards. You gotta be careful when you walk around in the tall grass of an abandoned property. Look at this. That's their massive diesel generator. You can see all the valves, lifters. Look at that. 8 cylinders. I was sitting up on top of here. Look, it even had springs for the vibrations. Switch panels look really awesome. In the corner, that's that one chimney. We haven't been able to figure out what it does. I love all these switch panels. These stairs would have gone into the boiler room, but somebody stole a lot of the steel decking. Cut it off with an acetylene torch, it looks like. We would have been able to walk over there. Nope. So we don't know what was running down here. Maybe it was, maybe this hatch right here was just covered under further examination. Maybe the 4th stack was removed by the prison, because I don't see the foundation and every remnants of one of these boilers just being gone. Maybe when they converted it from coal to fuel oil or diesel, it was more efficient where they didn't need the last one. Maybe, because there's not even evidence of it. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think in the comments? They have lots of expansion tanks and other stuff over here. I guess that was a steam vent, that one I mistaken for a toilet. I know there is a bathroom over here to the left, but over here you see these were all steam pipes that I was showing on the roof. Smokestacks. I went up that ladder the other day. The catwalk there, the floor is stolen, so you can't walk up around there comfortably. I was up here, but it's a very scary staircase. All right, let's go take a little walk down there. Then it's probably going to be time to set up camp. The sun's out, burning off that morning dew. There was a fire hydrant here. Here's the chimney cap that was for the generator. Here's the massive 10,000 gallon fuel tanks. That one's capped off. This one's full. I know it's not much, but as rain goes in there, it displaces the oil floats, and the oil's coming out all over the floor slowly over time. Back in the day, before they had the more efficient oil, they needed all this space here for coal. And now they're just using it as workshop space. All right, everyone. Let's do a little bit more exploring of the complex. There's all the loading docks. Let's go see my favorite room for a little bit. Then I gotta go back up The last food I saved for the walk back is some sardines just to give me some quick energy. Let's go take a quick look at the sewage treatment plant real quick. It looks like it probably just dumped out into the little stream. I don't know if they actually treated it well back then, but it was so rural back then, it didn't really matter. Who are you going to affect, really? These deep pools are still filled with water. I see different baffles in here. I'm imagining this thing spun to create aeration. It had a motor at the top of it. Has a motor still. Here's one of the power poles. Maybe it did have power coming in here from outside sources. Maybe it was just a generator. Not 100% sure, but there are no power lines standing anywhere along this road, but there are further out. All the control panels and stuff. Very flooded. This tunnel would have gone to the boiler room, but you'd have to be down there up to your neck in that water to get there now. More valves. You look down there, you see more water. So it had different pools, maybe different stations of bacteria cycles and stuff. I don't know if they did it the same way as they do today. I don't know if they collect sediment out of it. I don't know if they added bacteria, killed bacteria before releasing it. I don't know if they had that whole thing established back then. Out in the middle of nowhere like this. Not many regulations as far as environmental back then. Not this part of the building, but some parts of the building you can see when the facade falls off. They just built it with any random bricks. You know, they just threw them in there all crooked, whatever, filled it in with concrete. Nothing wrong with that, it's structural. Then they just made the outside look nice. All right, flashlight back on. Real heavy duty doors. Here's the one boiler you couldn't see. See, looks like it was definitely coal fired originally. Then they added these two diesel burners. Same with these, they all got big fire boxes, diesel burners. Let's take in here. They turned this into a workshop afterwards, but this and in here were coal rooms. Now it's a workshop. Got these nice workbenches. Over here, that's diesel all over the floor, the damp spots. These still have about 6 inches of fuel in them, which means still hundreds of gallons in each 10,000 gallon tank. This is diesel fuel all over the floor leaking. I know it's slow, but as water comes in, it sinks, the diesel floats, it comes out. See this right here? Okay, lift this up. There's diesel right there. I was using that little cup right there to take fuel, put it in water bottles. We made some cool, spooky torches to walk around the building with leftover fabric. Have to use cotton. If you use nylon or anything, it'll melt and it'll turn into like napalm. But anyways, based on the level in there, there's at least 6 inches in these tanks of fuel. But I'm sure there was tons more based on the smell in here. I think they just left this to spill. Maybe vandals took the pipes, allowing the oil to go all over the floor. I don't know. But with the asbestos, the oil spill, I think this place would cost a lot to clean up too. But it's a big property. Wonderful price. Look in here. You can see where the water would have been, where it would have been heating up inside that. You can see the oil burner. It sprays an ultra fine mist of the diesel fuel out. And that's makes it very flammable because diesel's not not flammable. It's combustible. Meaning you can put a match out in it. It's not going to go up like gasoline. It's like oil. These days they call it expansion tanks, but back then they apparently called it the cushion tank. I like that term. Over here, this is that same flooded out hallway that goes over to the sewage treatment. Last time we were here, there was like 2 more feet of water in it. Hasn't been raining that much. So you see, Someone with a acetylene torch just stole the bottom half of the stairs. That's what makes me think it was just a thief, not professional. Because if they were professional, why didn't they take any of this? They obviously had no knowledge of all this asbestos wrapping it. Because every pipe in here probably had asbestos and they just ripped it down. It's all over the floor in here. But you see what I mean? They took certain areas here. It looks like the guy was standing up here, cutting it with his torch. Let's let it fall on the ground, cut it up, threw it in a pickup truck. That's what it looks like to me. Because why'd they take just that piece, but nothing else? You'll also notice there was a lot of pipes here running along the wall. They stole them all. You see, they cut it off, stole it, but they didn't steal anything high up. Makes me think it was a thief. Surprised no one ever started a campfire there in the chimney pipe the way it is. Kind of cool. More switchboards. Janitor's closet. I want to show you guys upstairs. This is actually easy to walk on, even though the person stole half the stairs, it looks like, with a torch. It's still fairly easy to walk on it. Not bad. And we're up. I would love to know if anyone in the comments knows, what were these for? Expansion tanks? Extra water? I don't know. Lots of asbestos. Tread very lightly. Locker room for the workers. Urinal sinks. It's so remote that there was designated people here just to work on the boilers. It's really cool. These off-grid places back in the day. Look how rusted out the bottom of that stack is. And the pipes going up to it. Rusted out. Yeah, I'm surprised no one made like a little campfire in there. Then it would look like the place is running again. We can't walk on this catwalk up here because the grating, someone stole it. Just wanted to give you a quick look up here. I shut my light off for a minute, conserve it. Now we got to show you a little more of the prison. Firmly grasping the railing. The cool place about this place is the road coming in here. We have early detection, you know 20 minutes before any other explorer shows up, unless they bushwhack, which no one's done. Extra maintenance room, maybe electrical. See all these brackets? There was so many steam pipes. These tunnels here, their whole purpose is getting to the other side of the building more efficiently instead of having to go around the entire wing. This goes beneath the courtyard. Lots of raccoon tracks in here. And most of these tracks are ours. You see, there was dozens of pipes running through here. Steam, water, sewage. Even the sewage pipes were wrapped in asbestos because it got, frog. It used to get really, I don't know why I said that. It does get very cold up here. In here, we got more air exchangers and stuff. Bottom of the crashed elevator. Control panels, vandalism knocked it over. Right here's another blower. And this one over here, you can actually see, I'm going to explain how this heated it up. So superheated steam came into the building here. We're now underneath the cafeteria. Superheated steam came in here. Someone stole all the copper rods, but you see right here, there was copper pipes going through here, copper coils. Cold air passes through it, gets warm, blows it around upstairs into the cafeteria, gym, everything above it. Same exact type of system, and this is just more steam tunnels. There's just a maze of this stuff underneath the buildings. Don't need to take you through them all, just the exciting ones. I want to come back the way I came. I just wanted you to see the inside of that, how the steam goes through coils and it heats up the air going upstairs. Most prisoners have a forced air duct. All the ones in the front of the building have radiators. That's a garbage can lid. This is very deep mud, deep sediment coming in here over the years, making the ceiling a bit shorter. Around this corner, we have a scary ladder we gotta climb now. Oh, another frog. Not as scary in this part of the basement because it's got windows. More rotted out sections from rainwater getting in from the roof vents. Here's another one of those systems with the coils. Oh, it wasn't copper. Oh, it was. Yes, it was copper. And that's heat exchangers. That helps spread the heat. Just like an air conditioner. You ever put a window air conditioner in? You accidentally smash it and dent these things and it looks like garbage. Yeah, that's what that is. A lot of cans from kids hanging out in here. Kids probably helped knock this giant ductwork onto the floor. This place is an absolute maze. But I'm killing some time right now, and I'm having fun giving this tour. I knew I wanted to make like a video giving a tour of the prison when I did a partial tour in another vlog, doing this without flashlights, doing it with torches. Here we are back to that same room with the bricks. But I want to show you these cool underground tunnels. They're the scariest part of the prison. But once you know these tunnels by heart, like I've come to learn over the last few days, it's no longer scary. It's just who could be here. That's the scary part. What you're seeing moving is frogs. People without big high boots built this to easily walk in here. This is the bottom of the stairs that go up to the main corridor. Dead ends. Lots of just dead ends, mazes. I think we were already here, maybe. Did I show you this one yet? More dead ends. Just storage, extra basement rooms. We didn't come in here, but you remember this part of the video? Yeah, we were just in there. All right, so we covered the entire basement now. Showed you what was down here. Very nice and spacious. Easy to work on building. I love these buildings. There's a lot of hazardous stuff in them, but you can tell they were built with pride. They're strong. If it weren't for the vandalism helping, these places would just be standing much, much longer than they will in this condition. I imagine if this place is still here in a decade or two, some of the stairwells will start becoming dangerous because look at the rot rusting out. All right, here we are, back to that courtyard, back to the gym. All right, let's do our round of cell blocks, show you some of them. These are the cells that had individual radiators. Each cell had a sink, toilet. At one point they had a mirror. And that right there might just be, I don't know what that vent's for, maybe just equalizing pressure when the toilet flushes, I'm not sure. But the windows were on the inside and the bars were on the outside, which is interesting to show how they weren't really worried about these prisoners breaking things. There are solitary rooms I'll show you for ones that misbehave. This is just a coat room maybe for visitors. Yeah, all these cells had radiators. Maybe I can show you a better example of one. So right here, this is plumbing, sewage. There's the duct work going up. So, these prisoners had a radiator and forced air. Interesting. I actually did not notice that until this moment. Yeah, they also had coat hooks. And in this prison, there was no bunk beds or anything. Every prisoner had their own bed, own room. At the end of each hall, on each floor, there's a staircase. And there's also this bigger room, which looks like where a guard would hang out. I don't know if it was like an apartment or what. Looks like maybe a wood stove or something was put here. I don't know what that is. Did someone camp with a parrot? Maybe just storage. I only kind of thought that because one of them has a couch. I don't know if the couch dates back to the 70s or not. You'll see it soon. Impressive building. It takes hours to walk around it. But out of boredom, I've been just making rounds in this place for days. Really cool place to hang out. Very interesting. Toothbrush. And here is where all the prisoners of this cell block took showers. Look at those benches. 50 years of vandalism, couldn't break them. Super strong. I kind of like those. Really big showers. Just to show you where we are. See how far we've come from the boiler room. That tunnel we walked in under is right below us. We walked underneath here, there's a steam tunnel. Then we came in this room right beneath us is where that ladder is. We walked back around through there, came back through the L again. All right, this right here is just a service, duct work, get to the plumbing behind the showers, that type of thing. All right. This is an emergency exit. That little window there looks into where that room with the ladder is. Once again, the railings are all gone. Someone was firing blanks around in here. See that? All right, up here, it's set up differently. Both floors look like they shared the showers downstairs. Because this, we think, was solitary. You see, they had a glass bricks, so they get sunlight, but also maybe soundproofing for someone that's screaming or whatever. But then there's bars inside so they can't break the glass. Little peephole. Maybe that was covered some way. There's another one like that. Another one like that. Interesting. Can conserve this light a little bit in case I actually need it. Another room to access utilities. See? Down here is what we think is more solitary cells. Maybe when the solitary person needs to use the bathroom, they put them over here where they were able to lock the door. That's a shower for the solitary. This is the bathroom here where there would have been a toilet and a sink. And now that we're over here on the far wing of the building, I'll be able to show you. There was this weird building that had some kind of boiler furnace in it. Down here, that's the building with the super deep well in it That is in my main video of the place. And somewhere over here, there's a foundation like a radio tower or something. The river is down there. So the river is, okay, so halfway is to that building, you see, the well. Another half is the river. It's a very deep, slow-moving river that every now and then you hear boat engines on. But it's rare, because we're really deep. You can't hear traffic here. Every now and then you hear a train horn, but we know the track is 3 miles, maybe 4 miles away. So sound in the right conditions, right temperature, right humidity, if everything's like perfect, it takes an average of 5 seconds to travel every mile. So that means when we hear the train blowing its horn, it was between 15 and 20 seconds ago for that to travel through the air. Every single one of these cells has a broken toilet in it. And it's kind of cool. People were using smoke bombs in here, Roman candles. Someone brought fireworks into the building. It's sad if they do it in the rooms that have the pigeon occupants. But other than that, sounds like fun. This building is completely concrete. Doesn't even have wood lath board in the ceiling. Actually, this looks like concrete. Yeah, that's just concrete up to the roof, which is much stronger than that concrete on steel decking on metal trusses like I showed you the gym has. This is reinforced concrete, quite a few inches of it. I hear water dripping, and it hasn't rained in days. It just gets stuck places and keeps leaking. Here's another one of these rooms. Someone had a fire in here, having a party. I think when I first made a video in this place, for some reason I thought that this, oh, it's dripping above me. For some reason I thought this was plaster and there was steel decking up inside it. But now it's pretty clear when I really, really look at it. You see the indented lights and stuff. Yeah, this is reinforced concrete ceiling on this part. That's why there's no soft spots when we're walking around to where we're camping. There are a few soft spots, but we think maybe underneath the tar, maybe there's like plywood hatches and stuff that are just tarred over to look like the rest of the roof. Maybe that's what we feel that is slightly flexing. Maybe. We walked around in here with a blue flashlight. It's really cool. You can only see certain colors of graffiti, especially the orange. It shows up so good under a blue light. But most other colors are completely hidden. Listening carefully. We hear birds. We've seen a couple creatures in here that look like rats, but they're not. We don't know what they are exactly. It's like half the size of a rat, but they don't want anything to do with us. Yeah. All right, this is close to where we started, if you remember that. Over here, looking good. More cells. Basically the same thing. Not too much to see here. Although, when you're bored, like I was the past couple of days, I took a good peek in every room. There's 800 of them. You find the most random things that people brought into this place for camping, brought in here after it was closed. You know it had to have been after it was closed, because just look in this room over here. Another corridor. We don't know why. Last time we were here, this was boarded up. Don't know why. But, oh no, it's downstairs. I'll show you. We're going to do one lap through the cell block I didn't show you, because I want to take you through every part of the building. See these wet marks all over the floor you might be noticing? Stalactites dripping, even though it hasn't rained in a bit. It's holding that water in the ceiling somehow. Really, really well. As far as the cell blocks, this place is very uniform, very symmetrical. We're going to go down that staircase in a minute. I just want to show you exactly the same on this side of the building. Solitary with a swing in it. Solitary. This would probably be the easiest way to get on the roof of this building. On how it's built, I don't think I'd trust the roof here. But look at all the brick. I don't think it's gonna fall from my weight. This is just a likely spot it would fail first. There is super strong actually. But if I threw something out where I was able to, I don't know about pulling my weight up on the sharp stuff, but yeah, I didn't go out there. I didn't think that was a good idea for myself to go out into that section of the prison. And everything's opposite, so 2 solitaries, shower, toilet. Look at the view we got. You can see the road coming in quite a ways. This is probably my favorite abandoned building of all time. Coming down. When we came out of the room downstairs, right before I showed you the diesel generator, we walked up those stairs out into the courtyard where the apple tree is. What do you think? Was that apple tree planted by prisoners, or did someone just throw an apple core who was camping here like 20, 30 years ago? This is the part of the prison I was saying. It looks like they tore apart part of it just to get the bars off. Looks like they kind of neatly brought it out, at least in the first place. Huh. I stand corrected, everyone. Each cell did have its own radiator and forced air. I don't know why I thought otherwise. I guess maybe I thought that all this was taken out and thrown here. I guess that's what my brain was thinking, but I was wrong. Every single cell had forced air and a radiator. Or the radiator was heat and the other part was just, like I was saying, ventilation in the summer. Surprised no one took that stainless steel sink when it was being scrapped. This part of the prison has lots of debris, lots of bedding, air mattresses, and things people brought for camping. Look at that press board countertop. I don't think that was from the 70s. All these cabinets, I think people dumped them here. Honestly, look at that air mattress. Here's the room I wanted to show you. It's a dead possum on the floor. Mattress, bunch of pressboard furniture. That couch looks like it could be from the 70s. The storm door looks pretty modern though. I know my mom installed one that looks just like that. You pull down to open the window and a screen unravels. Its handle, everything about it looks just like what my mom just put on her house. I don't think that's from the 70s. I think people were dumping stuff, or maybe a camper brought that storm door just to put up over this door when they were staying here for a while. Because I'm sure that this place, you used to be able to drive up to it when it first closed. Now the road in, you can get with an ATV. You can get in here with an ATV, but you have to be probably an experienced ATV driver. And it's because they made numerous ditches, barricades you got to get around. The trail gets really steep, very slanted in certain areas. But they found a way around. It's very easy to hike in like we did, though. We got to prepare to walk a little bit of treacherous terrain and walk for about, depending on your speed, an hour, maybe 90 minutes. All right. It's also, the ride in here is quite rough. If you come during a rainy part of the year, you can have to drive through nearly 2 feet of water with your vehicle. Very muddy areas. This time of year is dry. Deepest part I drove through was probably 6 inches. Most people can do that. But There's also so many potholes and dips in the road. I'd recommend you have at least 8 inches, a foot of clearance, I'd say, to get in here. If you have 8 inches of clearance, better be careful. You're probably gonna hit things if you just drive in here like nothing. Hello, did I scare you? I'm giving a tour of the place. And I just happen to have finished. We've been to every part of the building. Gotta shut this door, let myself get by it, shut it that way. Give you one more view of the roof. Let's walk around the roof a little bit. Maybe I can show you what's up here. I can't without a stool, without a tripod. Parts of the brickwork are fine, parts of them are very decayed. This is what I was talking about earlier. See this? See how they used any random brick as filler? They're all crooked. Not even a lot of mortar either. Then they put the facade over the face of it. The lack of mortar, did that help it fall off, you think? Maybe. That's what I'm thinking. Because there's areas like that, I can tell if you had a crowbar, you could make that whole wall tumble, which is scary if you were under it. Just go for a little stroll up here, and I think the next half hour we'll probably take down our tent, pack up, get out of here as soon as the dew burns off. You can see all the areas that have sunken over the years, settling. Even reinforced concrete will slowly dip over the years too. More ventilation. Cool. The front entrance kind of reminds me of that scene where they were having the fire in The Walking Dead in front of that school. There's a junk car. No, that's a pickup truck. There's a junk car down there. So basically at this point, the entire roof is stable, except up there. I think if you jumped around, you could get into trouble. Because the concrete up there, it's very thin on top of the concrete decking. I mean steel decking. Here, the flexes I'm feeling every now and then, I think are maybe panels of plywood or something that they tarred over. Maybe just thick areas of tar that I can feel flexing because it's kind of rubbery, maybe. But I don't think it's that, because only certain areas do it, especially the areas with the trees. Maybe it's tree roots getting underneath it and separating it, making a little air pocket that I'm stepping on is closing up. Maybe that's what it is. But see this? All the way down to the basement. Okay. Kind of out of breath at the moment. That was a long walk. I don't think any of these trees were planted here. I think they just didn't get cut down when they do regular trimming of the property. I think they do regular trimming so the property doesn't become useless if they ever wanted to use it again. They'd have to log it. It would be a pain in the butt. So that's why I think they could keep it mowed. See how it's flexing a little bit? I don't know. The little trees are kind of far away and they're very small. I don't think that's the reason, but it may have separated from the concrete. Maybe that's what I'm feeling. But up there, it was moving by inches, the buckling in certain areas I was walking. Definitely didn't want to get in the dips where it looks like a pond. Definitely not. Those are the areas I was showing you were severely rusted out, and even the trusses were bending from the severe weight of water and snow. But I hope everyone liked this tour of the property. Time to pack up the tent and get out of here. And grab my time-lapse camera over there. Although it's kind of cloudy, I don't know if we'll even get a good footage of the sun coming up, but that's okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.